Pacino with a Yiddish accent. Oy vey. No, but seriously, it was spot on. The man can do anything. Such a pro. Nazi hunter! Psycho-Nazi. A good introduction to Yiddish terms I was not familiar with. I must be mashugana to think I can get away with listening to such a show with 2 little earbuds. Or am I? Shalom, people of YouTube. I'm Ealan Osborne, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about movies, audio, and music. But more specifically, I like to review the movies and TV shows that you have come to love, but with a little bit of a twist.
What?
I listen to them on my smartphone like an enhanced audiobook. No visuals. Still not sure what I mean? Check this out. But in a nutshell.
Unlock your phone. Go to a streaming platform like Netflix. Choose what you want to watch. Select the audio settings. Tap on audio description. Lock your phone, which temporarily stops the audio. Then press play from your lock screen and voila!
Before we nosh on the matzo balls of this episode, let's give a shout out to the sound department of Hunters. The supervising sound editor was Mr. Clean himself, Joe Juban, who also made the latest Power Rangers movie sound dope. You know, the one with Elizabeth Banks and Billy from Stranger Things. Joe gave us a creepy AF soundscape for both Conjuring movies, stuck microphones near a lot of engines and for Furious 7, and somehow made people talk clearly underwater in Aquaman. I'm sure you don't hear many shoutouts, Joe. Damn it, you deserve it. Much love. From sound waves to melodies, let's discuss the music. Just like the music in Better Call Saul, the music in Hunters has the 2 camps.
With tents and firewood?
The music in Hunters has the 2 camps of original score and licensed music. The original score was written by Chilean-born, classically trained musician, producer, arranger, multi-instrumentalist, and composer Cristobal Tapia de Vir, who is most well known for National Treasure. No, not the outstanding adult scavenger hunt movies with Nicolas Cage. I'm talking about the 2016 Hulu original miniseries, National Treasure, starring Hagrid. Cristobal.
Pardon?
Cristobal also wrote the music for the British sci-fi drama Utopia, and the 4th installment of Stieg Larsson's Millennium series, The Girl with All the Gifts. Just kidding, it's actually a zombie horror thriller movie from 2016. But the Hunter score is cool. Since you're dealing with the Jewish community, you've got a lot of cues that have kind of a bubbly Bavarian style feel to it, featuring a clarinet that sound very Jewish. But then you have the dark, brooding
indigestion.
But on the flip side, you have the dark, brooding arrangements that help complement the sadistic minds of the Nazis and their disdain for anybody who is not of the Aryan race. The score serves its purpose very well. But man, the star of the show, I think, is the licensed music. Maybe because it's produced by Jordan Peele? But the songs chosen for the soundtrack are just insanely cool. The insertion into specific scenes or transitioning from one scene to another is just done with such surgical precision. It just makes the listener want to bob their head or take part in a protest, whatever. There are too many songs to list since we're dealing with 10 episodes, and the story takes place in the late 70s, so the amount of hits from that era is just straight bonkers. I've included the Spotify link in the description below because you will want to check it out. Now let's play.
One skill, a natural to robot, it sounded like this.
In the middle.
Don't you ever talk about motorboating titties in front of the first lady again.
A blonde woman kisses Biff. Kids swim in a pool.
Rosalind blushes every time she sees Biff.
A younger couple enters the backyard.
It's okay. It's in between. It doesn't really detract from the listening experience, so that's good. There are scenes which include foreign dialogue, which are acted by talent other than the main audio describer, but I thought it wasn't too bad actually. It wasn't just comical. They actually did a pretty good job. I've run into some foreign dialogue being read by other audio describers, and man, it can be really bad sometimes, like in Triple Frontier. Sorry. But overall, not too shabby with this.
Failure of a take.
But overall, not too shabby in this series. And now... The Experience! Right off the bat, there are some ducking issues in the intro when all the credits are being read aloud. And no, that wasn't me trying to say f***ing and being auto-corrected. I really meant ducking. Capiche ducking? The most common use you'll hear is, say, in trailers, when music is playing real loud, but then it has to duck down a little bit so you can hear some dialogue that is about to come through. And then it goes back up in volume when the dialogue is over, everything is intense. Whoa, I'm a trailer. It makes sense in a trailer since everything is trying to get your attention so much. So it's like loud music, dialogue, loud music, dialogue, loud music, dialogue. So that's where you'll find it the most. Ducking! So yeah, in the intro of Hunters, there was some serious kind of jarring ducking going on where you got music and dialogue, and then the audio describer has to also cut in to tell you what's going on. And man, the jump in levels was harsh on my ears. I just remember that. I had to write it down because I just remember like, oh God, kind of had to wince a little bit. The rest of the series is fine. For whatever reason, the intro is just terrible. So just be aware of that when you first start it. Just ride the wave.
Oh geez, here we go.
And then you'll be fine. But once that was over with, man, I was actually really impressed with the sound mixing in this and sound design and very clever and unique ways of transitioning between scenes using audio or using well-placed music. Director Edgar Wright, who's done the Cornetto trilogy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver. In my opinion, he's one of the best when it comes to using audio as a means of transitioning from one scene to another. And Hunters is up there. Throughout the series, there's this great emphasis on the use of audio as a means of transition. It's done very well. Another thing I noticed was a more accurate use of the stereo field when it comes to hearing dialogue and where it's placed spatially within the 180 degrees. Most of the time, dialogue is just heard straight down the middle. And there were several scenes where they either walk off screen and they're over on the right or over on the left, or just somewhere a little bit off axis and not just in the center all the time. So I thought that was really cool because the engineers and the mixers don't have to do that, but they kind of did that quite a bit. I mean, any sound supervisor can just be like, yeah, just put the dialogue in the middle, put it in the center channel, call it a day. So the fact that they took the time to really
Memorize their lines.
capture perspectives well really added to the audio experience. So I wanted to give those engineers a pat on the back. One thing that happens when you're audio streaming
Okay.
One thing that happens when you're audio streaming is that you're relying on your ears to identify people sonically, right? So one beef I had with this series is that there are two British women in this show who are on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to good and evil. One's really bad, one's really good. And they sounded almost identical, at least to me. So there were times where I thought the good British woman was doing something super terrible. I'm like, wait, why would she do that? She's the good one, right? And then I would realize, oh, that's the other one. That's the bad one. Sorry, I wasn't really aware because you sounded just like the other British woman. So
Yeah?
that was kind of annoying.
Cool.
Another low light was at the end of episode 2, and then it even continues into episode 3 a little bit. There's this high-pitched frequency just ringing. I mean, I know it was there for a reason, but when you're listening on headphones, it's right there, and it was really annoying. After a few minutes, it kind of started to drive me a little crazy. Overall, though, it was a fantastic experience. So, would I recommend Hunters as an audio stream? Yeah, man! The acting, even through audio streaming, is phenomenal. Al Pacino is such a beast. Being an old Jewish guy with a Yiddish accent in Hunters, or Jimmy Hoffa with a Chicago accent in The Irishman, he's actually really kind of spreading his wings late in his career. So I think it's actually really cool. And like any TV show or film involving Nazis, you're always gonna get a stand.
Like a fruit stand?
You're always going to get some incredible, insane, creepy, psychotic performances from those who are playing the Nazis. And one in particular is the man who plays Biff. He is terrifying. His complete disregard for human life is baffling. But it's mesmerizing to hear him go from charming Southern man to a vile Nazi scum in an instant. And there are some badass women in this ensemble as well. And the twist at the end pays off big. And if you're like me
Who's me who?
And if you're like me who didn't know a lot of the Yiddish terms that they threw out there and ended up looking them up just so I could follow along with the story, it's educational as well. Some of the highlights I've taken from this show you can see on my Patreon page, so don't forget to check that out. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you haven't tried audio streaming a TV show or movie yet, don't be a schmuck, just do it already.
Yikes.
Don't be a schmuck, just do it already. Hey.
Nope, that didn't save it either.
Don't forget to say a friendly hello to somebody you know or don't know who is visually impaired. And of course, always be listening.
I got merch. Link in description. I got Bandcamp. Link in description. I got a Patreon. Link in description. I got Etsy. Link in description. I got a kids book. Link in description. And don't forget, always be listening.